Aloha, everybody. I am still in Ireland, and I just felt called to make like part two of this video about this what I did yesterday, which was just like the hardest month of my life, and just really sharing, what I went through, moving through it, and it's kind of my gold that has helped me like come on the other side of it. So there's a couple things that I left out that I actually wanted to make sure to touch on. And so for those of you who didn't see the part one video, it was really just me sharing about the hardest month of my life and how I moved through it and what was helpful, what's not helpful. And the one of the really main things that came up for me when I was going through that was like 4 to 6 week time period is that because it was lasting so long and because it was the intensity of emotion was so much and because it was lasting for so long, I began to, it's like my mind began to say to me like, okay, like you might not get over this, like you might not be able to recover from this. And so what started to come up was this like fear of not getting better. And then this like loss of hope that I would feel better. And that as much as I wanted to, move forward, with the people in my life and just with myself, that I wouldn't be able to because of how, even though logically, rationally, I wanted to move forward and I wanted to get past it, my body, my nervous system was not feeling that and not feeling safe still. And so there was this really interesting time. It lasted like weeks for me, that where I was just like, God, I really want to move forward. Like I can see that I do, that's what I want, that's what I desire. But then this fear came up of like, can I do that? Like, I don't know if my body and my nervous system are going to be able to move forward, with a sense of trust and a sense of safety. And that's just what kept showing up like in my body. And so I wanted to just share I want to share that because if anyone else has experienced that, it's really intense. It's like a loss of hope, a loss of like, you're going to get better, like you're going to feel better. And what really helped me move through it, and I'm just going to give a shout out again to Amber Hartnell because she really helped me with this, is that when you have a really intense contraction in the body or a really intense fear in the body or just really intense, what you would consider a negative emotion in the body, that the best thing to do is to create space within yourself and to expand within yourself. And that may sound really simple, but for some of you that you've really just been going through it, like anytime, but lately or whatever, and you feel that intense emotion that makes your body want to like physically contract, if you can just think like, how can I actually internally like create space? And like, I just kept saying to myself over and over again, expand, 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 right? Until like I would just make my energy bigger, bigger, bigger so that it would fill up, my body and then even go beyond my body, like into the room so that I felt an expansion versus an intense contraction. And so that's what really helped me, like whenever I was like in the depths of it and just really feeling like I wasn't going to get any better, and having this fear, it's like losing hope and this fear of not being able to recover, is just like, just take a moment and like, you have the ability to do this. We all do. We just forget is that we have the ability to actually expand our energy and to create space within ourselves. So when you're going into that physical contraction, just remember, expand, expand, expand. So that's what was really helpful, as it may sound, just when I was like in the depths of it. That was super helpful for me. And the other thing was just talking about like self-care and like what true self-care is. And like, I'll tend to go into, if I'm going through a really hard time emotionally, I'm really good at taking care of like my physical body. Like I will go get massages, I'll go do an infrared sauna, I'll go, lay on the beach, I'll go for walks, I'll take bathtubs, get in the bathtub every night, Epsom salt baths, like I'll eat really well, eat nourishing foods, all of that stuff. And all of that's awesome. And it's like external self-care. But the internal self-care, and then this is just sometimes what I can forget, and we all can, is that, the internal self-care is actually just the internal dialogue that you're having with that part of your little girl or little boy, that your inner child that has been triggered and doesn't feel safe, and is reacting like with such fear. And so that was just super helpful for me, because I'm really good at all the external self-care stuff, but then sometimes I can just forget to just stop and like comfort, and like reassure my little girl, or, my inner child, really like stop and parent her in the way that she needs to be. That can create like just a sense of relief, like in the physical body, in a way that maybe some of the other like external care stuff can't. So that was the second piece. And then the third piece I wanted to share is like, whenever I was going through all of this and like sharing it with people that were that are very close to me, and people that I love, and they love me, and they're very, very well intentioned. But that if I'm actually like vulnerable enough to share like where I'm truly at, like not feeling really happy right now, I'm not feeling really peaceful right now, like I actually feel like shit, and I feel like crying at the drop of a hat, and I feel like I need to be held, and all these things. Like whenever I like really like share that, like there's a couple times, whenever, again, well-meaning people, a couple times where they would just almost like, instead of like listening, and like seeing me and hearing me, and just like providing me some connection, which is really like when we're in that state of not feeling safe and or not feeling connected. That's all we really need, is to feel seen and to feel heard and to feel connected, and sometimes to feel held. But like when people, respond to you by, whenever you're sharing like really deep, emotional things with them, when they respond to you, I'm just like, oh, I'm really worried about you, or I got that one, or maybe all this traveling that you're doing, like it's making you so ungrounded that's why you feel this way, and you're just not grounded, and that's why you feel this way. It's like, okay, sure, like I'm not as grounded as I normally am whenever I'm rooted in one place and not traveling. And I feel like it's really important, like to hear people, and like to listen to them, and like also, like, it's my belief that things are happening for us, and not against us. And so knowing that like me feeling like shit and not feeling peaceful, not feeling happy, or whatever it was, like during those last 4 to 6 weeks, is okay, and it's part of like the natural, normal, like human experience. And it's a bit of why I want to share, like these videos, like sharing my experiences, because Facebook, it just looks like everybody's happy all the time, and everything's positive and great, grand, and wonderful. But that's not true, for most of us. And so I just like to share like these little bits of, insights, and I call it gold of like what's helped me like through the other side. But so just know that like if someone does come to you in a really, raw, vulnerable, emotional state, like the thing that they need is to be seen and heard, and feel a sense of connection, like that they're not alone. And so, telling someone, oh, you should be doing this, or maybe because you're doing this is why you feel that way, it's just not all that helpful. It's like it almost, it doesn't, not that we need validation of our emotional experience or anything like that, but we don't need, basically someone saying it's not okay to feel that way, because it is okay to feel this way. It's totally normal to feel this way. And I think most people just don't talk about it a lot. So that's why I wanted to talk about it and share it. So hopefully it's helpful for some of you, and send you a lot of love from Ireland. Aloha.